Welcome back.
Welcome back to another 9 to 5 Moms podcast episode. I don't know what episode we are on right now, but karibuni sana. Thank you so much for watching the other episode. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. We really appreciate it. And today I'm here as your host, Kanali, and I'm joined by the very lovely...
And vocal Velma.
Yes, and as you can see today, we are rocking our merch, by the way. I know we haven't really worn them on set, but they are available. People have bought them. We've seen you rock them, and we love that you send us the photos when you do. Yes. So, and also if you still want to get yourself one, just hit us up on our Instagram and we will get back to you in terms of how you can get them and how much they cost. Today's episode.
You're in your feelings with your t-shirt.
Ni spicy sana. So the headline, again, just as the previous episode, how we did it, again, going through real life stories, because that's what we like to do here at 9 to 5 Moms.
Yes.
We tell real life stories and just bring them to light and, you know, offer that leaning shoulder to another mom out there who might be feeling alone and maybe they think there's something wrong with them. But imagine you're doing great.
You're okay.
You're okay.
We're all in it together, my dear.
Yes.
I
feel like all these stages, all moms go through them.
All of them.
All
in fact,
of
even
them.
our moms
Even
went through
them.
it. And their moms also.
Yeah.
It's only that it wasn't documented. Fantastic world we live in. Now we get to document it. And oh my God, what I'm glad about this is our kids get this.
They get a bet. They have wakona kama Kenya.
Imagine kama
So,
Kenya ndiaka.
Yeah. I mean, if you even want to start your own content on parenting at you feel like there's so many
Kuja.
Ata to any other whatever genre, like you do it. You'll find your audience and your community.
By the you're actually contributing to the future knowledge bank.
True that.
At the end of the day, before in the African society, stories were told. The only way to communicate. You
and
remember?
That's true. Yes. Storytelling was really big, and
yes.
it's still very big.
So what we're doing is
storytelling.
So tell us your story. Let us tell your story. Connect with it. Let's preserve this story so that the future generations don't feel like they are lost the way we had felt we were lost. Probably I think the stories were in books. At kusoma.
Ama zilikuwa tu word of
Hapana,
mouth.
sidhani zilikuwa kwa kitabu.
Zilikuwa word of mouth, like wewe unajua story ya ule, unajua story ya huyo.
Chama. Actually,
wow, like how did our moms really do it?
Chama. Kanali chama.
For sure.
Wamama walikuwa wanapenda chama kwa sababu that was their outlet. I think that's when they could actually meet church, communities. They'd sit and I think, you know those things women do. Okay, when you go to like basic environments where technology has not yet probably hit, you'll see that this is there. It's only interpreted differently.
Yeah.
Women sitting around like the wakidondoa mahindi utaona may have seen it in the shags unaiona tu like even when you go to the kitchen and people are cooking, like there's a lot of stories like huyu mtoto wako ni mtoto wa namba ule wako mwingine alikuwa ile mimba ilikuwa mbaya.
And then that's the thing about motherhood.
Yes.
Like haikwangi tu one layer of stories. Like you mnaendanga mna dig deep, even with you can even have the conversation with older
women. Alafu unasikia mshosho fulani anasema wakati wetu.
There's always that.
But it's the same thing.
It is.
Yeah, so I like the fact that we can preserve these stories. We can have them as digital content. It can find you wherever you are. Whenever. Yeah. So
yeah. Anyway, diving into today's topic. A strong one. I think hata na avoid kuisema like.
Akisema
okay, I will say it. I hate motherhood.
I hate motherhood is the story.
Yes.
Okay. Get into it. Why does she hate motherhood?
So, before I'm starting to read, before y'all come at me, I know having a kid was my choice, so please don't get immediately upset. I'm a mom of 2-year-old girl and 5 months boy. I want to rip my hair out just about every day of my life. I love my children, but most days I wish they were not mine. I know it's not their decision to come into this world, and so I obviously take responsibility for the fact that my husband and I made that decision. However, I hate to say it, but I freaking hate motherhood. Between the stress of breastfeeding and having to be the sole diet of one child while they scratch, kick, suck you dry, and then puke on you the next second, the toddler running anywhere and everywhere, challenging every limit because that's that's the age she is, and taking turns to throw tantrums. Every time I say she can't do or have something, I seriously am running out of life. I want to be a good mother so bad. I've always wanted to be a mom. I've always worked with and been great with kids, and I was a big factor in raising my niece, who I see as a child, but I always had help, and I was not the sole provider. Now I live in a scenario where I'm the default parent 95% of the time because my husband travels for work, and when he comes home, he tries to help, but is always out of sorts when it comes to handling things. Don't we know it? But every night I go through the same awful thoughts, and they make me sick to my stomach because I don't want to feel this way. I want to say there's more positives than negatives, and that it's worth it. But by the end of the day, I can't. I spend the last hour of my night with both kids taking turns screaming until they both pass out because we are all exhausted. And I sit here like I am now, sick to my stomach, hating doing this and knowing that I should be sleeping because otherwise I'll lose my mind even more tomorrow. I'm so physically touched out, but I still sleep with both kids at night. Wow. Because one's still breastfeeding and the other will wake up screaming in the middle of the night and will come to my bed in the middle of the night anyways. Between the kicking, biting, and scratching in the middle of the night, I literally can't even enjoy sleep. Not to mention that everyday mental load of being a full-time parent who's also working to make ends meet. Those two things being a huge factor for why things are even harder for me to handle at night. How do people do this? How did my parents do this? How do single parents do this? Am I the only one who feels this?
Jeez.
Am I just the biggest asshole? I mean, by this point, I'm sure anyone reading this is thinking, yep, you're an asshole. But I swear, I don't want to be. I really try to be a good mom, I swear. I try to do all the basics. I try not to let my childhood trauma carry on to them. I try to keep them healthy, food and health-wise. I try to entertain them without screens and teach them things that give them undivided attention. I know those are like standard things people are supposed to strive, what we were talking about in the previous episode, to strive to do as a parent. But realistically, nowadays, they are not as common because they're not easy. I don't know. Show some support or call me an asshole in the comments. Anyway, so yeah, that's it.
Why does I feel like that was my story at some point. Like that is me in 2019. I had 2 under 2. I was about to throw it back at you because, man, that
Yeah.
face is shit. Now you're in it. Ebu, tell me, how does it feel to be with 2 under 2, balancing work? How do you feel about motherhood generally? Do you have those moments? Because I kind of think like it's a moment.
It is a moment.
Yeah.
And okay, personally for me,
Have you had that moment?
I have, for sure, so many times.
That's what I'm
Especially when you're alone with them. You don't have your support system around. You don't have your nanny around. You don't have your help. You don't have anyone around. That's when it dawns on you. You're like, hey, sasa hizi ni gani? Why did I decide to become a mother? And that's the one question
Not
you
once,
have to
twice.
answer.
No.
That's the question you have to answer. And then you look at them, you're like, they're not a mistake. They're just humans. They're just living their lives. They make you better. They make you all that. But if I'm being honest, I tell myself, you know what? It's just a phase.
It is.
It's
It
just
really
a
is.
phase. And again, it's a bad day, not a bad life.
Yes. It's a bad moment.
It gets better. For sure, you've told me so many times.
Yes.
And I think mi watu naishi I'm just waiting for that day, you know?
Sasa unaona uzuri ya older friend. Sasa ona kama older friend
sawa.
angekuambia ungekuwa umechomeka hapo ndani umeandika kama wewe.
For sure, now seeing them interacting, I'm starting to see the joys
Nilipe
of
bana, si
it.
nilikwambia.
Shika hiyo tano tu.
Nilikwambia nini? Inafika mahali wewe ni object kwa boma.
Yes.
As in all of a sudden everybody's out of your room and then you're just like, yo. Okay.
And I think, first of all, I need to like commend the author of this post
for articulating it.
Yes, and also not so many mothers are willing to come out and say, I hate
motherhood.
I hate this phase of my life. And also, I've also seen someone saying it's only in a bow tu uko mwanzo. And I guess it comes with postpartum.
Let me tell you. Unaona hiyo part, the moment I remember when you told me you're expecting. And you had that face of shit. 2 kids.
Yeah.
Under 2. And then I went to that moment of, and I told you, I remember exactly the moment I also found out I was pregnant with a 1-year-old. And I was like,
I'm those people.
I'm those people who have never had a family plan. Like, what did I just do? Like, when I did it, I thought, why not raise them together? Yeah? And I do remember getting advice from enough people. They're like, okay, if you're doing this, usijipe hizi magaps zako zote. Kwa sababu kuna nannies, kuna kazi, kuna balance, kuna school fees.
Kunayo.
Fanya hizi vitu in bulks.
Yeah, I think one of my friends, like, who assured me of my decision, to proceed with having 2 under 2, she told me, you did such a good thing kuwafatanisha hivyo, because hers, I think they have like a gap of 7 years or so. Like she had one son and then she got another one. Like the gap is like 7 years. And she was saying, like, the moment she wanted to get to get pregnant again, she would like postpone it and say, you know what, wacha kwanza huyu aende shule. Inakuja, you know what, wacha kwanza aingie, sijui zinaitwaje, I don't know.
Utafika.
I know,
Utafika
I know,
swiri.
I know.
Kwanza unaenda kujua CBC vizuri. Unaenda kujua kuna junior na senior.
Oh my God. So yeah, she really assured me and I felt, at ease with my decision to proceed.
I sat with a man, an older man, who immediately noticed my second pregnancy was showing and had remembered. Then he was like, hey, unashinanga tu na mimba mama.
Oh my God. Oh my
Actually,
God.
the way that statement came at first, I was offended. Then he was like, but I'm really proud of you. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
from a man. Then he's like, hey, you get to do this at once. As in, you will feel overwhelmed. And he actually told me, you will feel overwhelmed, especially as a woman. Don't think that as men we don't see it. We do see it. You will be overwhelmed, but just for a short period of time. It flies.
It gets better.
Not even it gets better. He just told me,
Time flies.
time flies. And I
that's
mean
so true.
it.
I mean, can you imagine to go 1 year into...
Yes.
We're 1 year postpartum.
Yes. And in fact, the thing he told me that is at some point they will look like identical twins. Nobody will be able to differentiate who was first and who was second. And now, can you tell who was first with my kids? Can you?
No.
No, you can't. Why?
They're so identical.
They're identical.
They look together.
They look together. And they are together. And then the strangest thing is, when the first one became aware of themselves, there was a second one. When the second one became aware of themselves, there was someone. So they became they're each other's company. Like they have a world.
A clique.
They have a clique.
Gang.
Wako na dunia yao.
And that's so cool.
Yo ni dunia.
I think one of the things also
Yes.
that really, growing up with siblings was really cool for me.
Aki nyinyi watu mulikuwa na siblings wengi mnafanyanga nasikia machungu. Tama, manze hata mi believe that's what I was looking
What
for.
was the gap between you? What's the gap between you and
Even
your
it's
brother?
funny, lakini sisi tuko tunasikizana. But si hatusikizana.
Oh.
Sisi ni competition.
But I get that relationship between brother and sister because I also have an older brother who it was...
competition.
we were fighting.
Hey. But then tukuwa na
Physical
moment of love.
fighting.
Now I was told, again, therapy. Guys, therapy. Therapy.
I think this season then we are just advocating for therapy.
Sasa acha nikwambie mmadhi akaniambia, unajua watu hii wanajuanga ni human nature. Yeah? Hapa ni survival.
For the
Parent
fittest.
ni moja.
Oh my God, I already see it in my kids.
Yes. Attention ni
Let me tell you,
mtu moja.
my son will come to me like akiona tu nimepeana the sister. He comes running to me.
Yes.
Like he knows it's my time. I need to get my time with this woman.
Imagine,
And
nani
when my
amemfunza-
daughter sees that, that boy ako hapa anadui na huyu mwanamke,
Huyu
she
ndio wangu,
comes.
yes.
She will atashuka penye yako
So
akuje.
in that moment, resource is scarce. Who is resource? Resource
me.
ni wewe. Resource ni wewe. So I realized even for me and my bro, it was resource is mom. And then my dad was in the military. So the guy was really barely not there. He was on assignments.
Yeah.
So when we would see him, and then because unajua kitambo venye walikuwa wanakaa nyi wasi acha wasai venye wanakaa friendly. Babangu alikuwa anakuja na combat uniform.
Home.
Na come home. Sasa ndio wametoka sasa sikuwa najua wanatokanga wapi alafu wanadropiwa so akidropiwa wana bag nini
Like literally like in the movies like
okay, I'm
I'm
not
like,
lying to you guys wacha tu nikwambie
I
first
think
of all
we need like a support group for military kids at this point.
alafu unaja hiyo point kenye nakumbuka ni uniform gives you authority.
It does.
You can't see him, you seeing the authority, the boots nini so he nini and then I'd have a moment of okay
Who are you?
no, tunafaa to do tumsalimie. I think it was so funny. It was like, hi dad. You do like this.
Aweke mkono.
Okay. Hapana hapa Nairobi. Sasa uko namsalimia alafu unakana. How are you? Fine. Did you eat? Yes. Did you sleep? Yes. Did you disturb mom? No. Then my bro would come like, dad. I'm like,
And
attention, young
it
women.
was different.
Yes, then it was different.
Their interaction was different.
It was different. Then he'd my son, you people with sons, he'd sit him up on the thigh, man. As I miss Jui,
Who
now
are
feel
you?
awkward as in how I'm sitting on a man.
So you are a girl.
I'm a girl. And imagine I'm aware, and I think I was like 5-6 years old. Then my bro would be propped on his knee, then they'd talk. Then he'd be like, Baba, and I'm like, mi naitwa tu Velma.
Oh wow.
And I noticed it.
You did notice it.
Sasa niambie sasa venye nitapenda huyu boy. Ndampendea wapi wewe? Wewe utampendea pia naitwa baba na wewe unaitwa jina yako. Unaelewa? So
we don't have pet names.
So the kids at that particular point are narcissistic. They want your attention. You're scarce. You're the resource. So me, I didn't know how to get love from my dad. I didn't know how to connect with him then. But I found a way. Don't worry. This story didn't end badly. I found a way. Like huko katikati. We ended up bonding over English. We bonded over war stories. I was into war stories. Genocide.
Do you think you dived into those things because you wanted him to notice you?
Yes. That's why I'm saying attention. So I went into his world.
And you...
Yes.
Ulipenda
my
by
friend,
force.
you guy, wacha hiyo time kulikuwa na what was the name? There was a Chechnya, I think. There was a war.
Oh my God. I don't even know.
Can you imagine?
the
I can actually remember. I remember Rosemary Church in CNN because I'd watch CNN to just get to know what's going on in terms of wars.
Okay.
Then I remember Amanpour. Like I'd literally watch her go to Chechnya. There was some war then. And then the Rwandan genocide. Like I was heavily invested in understanding.
Wow.
So when my dad comes, I'd be like, so dad, what do you think? And I was really young.
Oh my God, Aki, that is so crazy.
Yeah, so
because
I went
imagine like uko na notes, like mental notes,
Yes,
like
I
you
did.
know.
Yes, I'd watch so that we could have a conversation with him. So then I could connect on military combat. But then let me tell you, now
For
that
me,
I'm
it was
older,
football. I'm sorry. I
now
just realized.
I'll go there. I'll go there. Now my bro and him connected over football with my mom and basketball.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted that too. Yes.
So ni nini ukafanya?
Nini si mimi nikakuwa fan wa Manchester United. My dad was an Arsenal fan, you guy. Wakati wa Kenu what was his name? Thierry Henry. Kina Beckham. Mi hata sikuwa naelewa. By the time Rooney alikuwa na to join. Okay, anyway, watu wa Manchester, big up. We are suffering but we are good. Anyway, so I'm saying at the end of the day the kids want your attention. So she's feeling overwhelmed because as a resource,
She's cuss.
no, she's scarce and they want it.
And there's nothing, there's
Yes.
no one and nothing pouring into her. So I feel like anakuwa depleted.
Ako depleted. She's empty. And you can't pour out of an
You can't
empty cup.
run on empty.
You can't run on empty. And you see, this is where, remember when we were talking about the village, how do you create a village? How do you maintain a village? Aki village ilishanga. Acheni kuambia watu it takes a village to raise a child.
Oh my God.
Where
in
is
this
the
day and
village?
age.
We are buying villages, you guys. Now you have to have money to buy a village. When I'm talking about buying a village is you have to hire a good nanny. That's buying a village. You have to live maybe in a neighborhood near your friends and family. That's buying into a village so that they are available for you.
Oh my God.
I believe like right now even the biggest flex is having grandparents who are present in your kid's life and live near you.
True that.
It's a flex. That's a village. It's getting a kindergarten, a play group that will allow you to drop your kids for 1 hour when you need to run an errand and you're sure that they're okay. It requires money.
Oh my God,
It's a
it does.
village.
It does.
So at the end of the day, the scarcity is because the village
it looks
is not
different
there.
for different people.
Yes.
Kuna wale wenye I know they rely on their neighbors.
Yes.
Like they have had
Yeah,
to form
yes.
those relationships
Yes.
so that they can be able to have that safe space for their kids.
Let me tell you the one place I appreciate the most when it comes to understanding a village. Informal settlements. Ghetto.
Yeah, that's true.
I grew up a little bit, the ghetto, and I'm telling you, manze kule kuna community.
Yeah, it actually I know for
Community
sure.
eco. Like someone will tell you nimeacha mtoto kwa jirani.
They take care. I know. I have nimesikia like passively in conversations where they say like, mama Wambo, ako wapi huyo? Ako wapi? You know, like all those. And I really envy that.
Imagine.
I envy that for sure.
So now, the reason that those women are able to do the things they are doing and not feel depleted, and not feel like a scarce resource is because there's community. I believe she's in that space purely because there's no community. I remember having a nanny once who told me, mi sielewi nyinyi watu wa Nairobi. Gosh, it was postpartum. It was exactly that stage with a 2 and a 2 situation. And we were just me and her. And my husband had traveled. And I had some sort of mastitis, I think. I had extra milk. Remember that? And we were just us. I was in so much pain. The chick she took the baby from me and then ran to the neighbor to knock if the neighbor can come help me. The neighbor was called Mama Jabali, I remember. We were just new in those apartments and Mama Jabali had not met me so much because I had just had the baby and I was mostly in the house. Mama Jabali, does I have my number? Doesn't have my husband's number, so I know who to call. Then tell her to go to my phone, try to go to the doctor. As in, look at that. And then please remember, I still have another baby. And I can't even remember at that point when I was in that situation where my other child was. But she was in the house. I'm sure she watched it. I'm sure it had an impact on her. But it was happening. Okay.
I remember I've also had such a situation where I could never, for the life of me, I would knock on someone's door.
Yes.
But I had to. And thankfully, they were able to respond and they assisted me. Because at the time, Munjo, it was like an emergency of some sort. My daughter was choking. I know, I don't think I ever told you this.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. It was just a crazy story because we were just 2 weeks in. I remember vizuri. We were just 2 weeks in. I think also at that time we were in and out with our own problems.
I think I was 4 weeks, you're 2 weeks.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
I was coming out of it,
Nile tu like umemwacha, like we've had dinner, nimemwacha pona my cousin, and then I'm in the kitchen like washing my hands literally, and then ananita ko like, hey, unajua ni ile unasikianga like, you think it's just the usual like wanna learn because they're still learning. And then it happened to be like Hachi, like she started almost not akuwa anaweza ku breathe. So I was wondering because mimi nikuja nikamchukua like si unajua yuko like I have experience. Nime raise a whole son. Like I can do this. So I'm patting her on the back, but haishi like bado ako like she's struggling to breathe. I just took her. Nikatoka nikanock to my neighbor because she's a bit older and she has like 3 kids. Nikamwambia huyu hapo me like, and then she took her akajaribu what she did akaniambia nimpeleke hapo down kwa chemist. They try and suck out because now the nini ilikuwa imeingia kwa maziwa ilikuwa imeingia kwa mapua and she couldn't clear her airwaves. So anyway, long story short, I had to rush her to the hospital. Nikifika hapo kwa clinic kulikuwa na small hospital kind of but huo msee sijui hiyo siku alikuwa wapi, for God's, what do I know. So I had to nikajaribu kuorder cab, like it takes so much time and the whole time she's like I know, that's why I didn't want to tell you because it was traumatic. So I had to rush her to the hospital. Have kupanda boda like mbio nikamwambia nipeleke uzuri, there's a hospital, I live near a hospital. So we got there and then they analyzed her like drain you whatever was in her mouth, nose, and then she was just okay. We went back home and I couldn't sleep the whole night. I just looked at her. Yeah.
Unajua kuna hizi, acha tuongejwe hii part. Kuna hizi vitu zenye ziko hapenianga in between motherhood, like hata uwezi explain ya mtu. As in, ina happen alafu you move on.
Yeah, you just move on, you're just like, where? But you still remember in your mind, you're like,
kidogo unasikia, hata ukisikia choking sound unasikia kakitu.
I get that, right. I get that with both of them because I know how choking can kill. Unfortunately, a cousin of mine lost a baby just last year from choking, from breast milk. Can you imagine living with that?
And you know it has happened.
Yeah, it does happen.
Okay, so ideally, in those moments of feeling like I feel like she feels abandoned. Nobody's taking care of her. And therefore, of course, you will hate motherhood if there's no village and if there's no support. For sure, I am guaranteeing you will hate motherhood if you're in it by yourself without support.
And also, sometimes you see when, like partners, can we just try? As in, mi sijui hata hii tunaweza waambia aje, ama ninaweza waambia aje. Because I don't know, like they really play a
An
very important
important
role,
role.
but they don't take it so seriously.
Some of them don't.
Some of them, oh, sorry.
Some of them don't.
Some of them
do.
don't. And some of them are amazing people.
Yes.
But where? I mean,
Okay, there are moments. We're not saying 100%, but I keep saying this because I had it once from my doctor. My gynecologist told me, don't be the expert of the child. The child belongs to two people. Wewe huwezi kuwa we ndio pro.
usimbape hivyo. Usimbape hivyo.
Usimbape hivyo.
Muinue.
Alau pia mtu mwingine ajaribu antics zake. Mi kama bapping mi kwangi mkono yangu. Bapping na kulalisha. Kwangi mkono yangu. Mi neza breastfeed bada. Mimi I can breastfeed a whole lot of children. Bapping gas utaitana.
And I tell you, those first few months, before they can know how to, me at some point nilichoka niko like, you know what, you will learn by force.
Gas.
And they had to.
Gas mimi.
But gas can cause a lot of problems. That's where they begin to be colicky and all that stuff.
Sasa hapo mi nachanga watu wengine wakuwe expert kama wanaweza na pia wana hack. So I don't also manage it. So ideally I think if you have the opportunity to have a partner who wants to participate, mwache participate.
Yeah. And I feel like even in this situation where the husband is away for travel, I feel like there's also a way he can be there for her, even if it's just a conversation, assure the mother she's doing a good job, even though you're not there to support her, like physically and all that. I think there's so much.
Acha nikwambie tu feeling moja yenye mtu get. Let me do a confession here, because even me nilikuwa na msafiri wakati nilikuwa na msafiri na bado ni msafiri tu pia, lakini hiyo wakati specifically alikuwa msafiri. Alikuwa msafiri kiasi. So I'd get the calls. I would get the calls, but they used to upset me.
Okay.
Because I was like, how the hell do you get to live your life? There's that part. Like, how the hell do you get to live your life? And I get to get stuck here with kids. I'm also a career woman. I'd have those feelings. Like, even when you'd be like, how did you guys sleep? In my head, I'm like, unajua hata hatukulala. Unajua hatukulala. So unauliza. Like, I'd get that anger and nini. So I'd say this. What I'd do, when they come back, I'd have a whole person, like a pass around. It's like chukua watoto.
Okay.
I'd really try, and because then once I'd get on beast mode and want to show that I can do this, then I'd become exhausted and depleted. And then when he'd come, I'd be very angry at him. Then I'd leave him with the kids a little bit. Then I'd have to kind of calm myself down, and then I'd accept that he's my partner in this. And then, then later on I realized when you're running on empty, you are affecting that. So even him, when he gets a gig to travel, he's like, peace. Nikikuja unakuwa umejam. Nikikuja unakuwa umejam ni nini,
Ndaishia.
Yeah, so ndaishia. So I got my village right. I had a friend who would, like, when I'd feel I'm overwhelmed, I'd be like, hey B, ni aje ni kam. But then niko nabeba watoto wangu wote, tunaenda kwa kidogo, tunaenda Friday, alafu kidogo ni Saturday, alafu Sunday, alafu ni Monday, alafu tunaambiana unaenda kesho, awendi unakaa tu bado nakaa. Then I'd be there for a whole week.
Yeah, I think as we wrap up this episode, what I would say to any mom who's feeling wako in that space where they feel like they're a bad mother, like they hate motherhood, it's the ghetto, we know it's the worst hood, but be kind to yourself, a little bit kinder to yourself, and also find your village, as you've said, and also let's shake this idea of being a perfect mother.
You're not, nobody asks for, hakuna hata marking scheme. When we're wrapping it up, this is my parting shot on that situation. When you're in that stage, pick it as a signal. It's an indicator. Immediately you feel it, it should indicate that you're running on empty.
And you need
to
fill your car.
Yeah, that's when you're looking at your phone and it's telling you low battery. Yeah.
True.
That is your indicator. Immediately you feel, I hate this, just know you have either not eaten, you have either not slept or drunk enough water or communicated or hung out with someone else who's been able to ease your burden. So take it as an indicator and then use it to get the support you need. For example, if you've not eaten, get someone who's just like, nisaidie baba mtoto nikule. Sijakunywa maji ama sijalala. Try and get someone to help you in that moment. Even if it's 1 hour you sleep or 1 hour you eat or you take a walk, take it as a signal. not that it's a bad thing. It can happen, and it happens to all of us, but take it as a signal to auto shift from I hate to what do I need to do about it. Yeah.
And I also feel like, I know we, like, nannies have a bad rep out here sometimes. Like, that's usually the story that is out there. But I mean, for sure, nannies come through for us
very much.
so much.
The nanny is like your wife.
Hey.
It's more
like
more,
it's a collaborative
it's a
relationship.
Yes.
And they collabo for sure. Some of them do collabo, and when you get that good nanny, please keep them.
Not even keep them, treat them well.
Treat them right, pay them well.
Yeah.
What?
Treat them, because they will step in and make your motherhood journey easier.
So much easier. Yes. Like, we get to shoot this podcast because we have amazing nannies at home taking care of our little ones.
Asanteni
Otherwise, wangekuwa hapa somewhere in the background, you know, saying mommy. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this episode. We would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? How do you manage when you get to that point? As mothers, we have accepted that, yes, it is part of motherhood.
And you can hate it.
And you can hate it.
And it is okay.
What are you doing about it, though? So let us know in the comment section. Help a mom out there. Let's be that community where we come through for each one of us.
And be part of a village. Try and be part of a village.
You can join our village.
Yes. If you don't like how it felt for you, try and make it better for the next person.
Next person, for sure. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. It really supports our channel and our community on the socials, on TikTok and on Instagram. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for the feedback. And today we are at
the voice box. The voice box. It's an amazing space. If you need to shoot your content, reels, TikTok videos, podcasts.
Yes.
Please book them. An amazing team behind the scene.
For sure.
Lighting.
Like, can you see how we are looking so relaxed and all that?
Yes.
You need to check the description box right now. Holla at them and they will sort all your needs. And until next time, bye.